Om Sthapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharmasvarupine avatara varishtaya Ramakrishnaya te namaha. Sri Ramakrishna was describing the nature of the people who are involved in the world and forgetful of the divine. There was deep silence in the room. A devotee, "Sir, is there no help then for such a worldly person?" A significant question. The deep silence shows that each is feeling guilty about their own lives, knowingly, unknowingly, driven by their past tendencies, the past momentum driving them towards the world without wisdom. They all get involved. And to some extent, they are able to occasionally remember God. You see, even we had in our childhood very good atmosphere, unimaginable degrees of purity and perfection. My parents never spoke anything other than our education and regarding spiritual and religious matter. No discussions, no comments, no criticism, no general talk also. Always engaged in spiritual discussions, telling so many stories and incidents from the saints' lives, and explaining every bit of what is happening. A child is weeping, they will show and tell why that child is weeping, what are its implications, what does it show, what are its effects on itself, what are the effects on the society, what are the effects on the parents, how the child will grow, what the parents are going to do now to pacify that child, what would be its reaction. All these things, small things, while walking, the cloud is gathering above the hill. So why clouds are close to the hills? Why not they are spread around the far off? Then they will explain what is gravitation. It is proportional to the distance and inversely proportional to the weight and all these things. So many things, every bit they will go on explaining. And even to buy vegetables, they will discuss separately in the kitchen and not in front of the children. Yet, the thought of divine had no consistency till we individually started struggling for our spiritual life. When I started entering into college days, finished my higher secondary school, then I must not forget God. I must not forget God. That was the one thought persisting when I entered into. But the struggle, it took years to get us. How not to forget God? How to remember? Morning I will take a vow that I will not forget God today. Going to the school, college, I can go on cycling and think of God. But the moment I get down and meet one friend, it totally goes off. And with such an atmosphere at the back, pure atmosphere around, no TV, no mobile. Some houses, rare houses, there will be radio and gramophone. Otherwise, even that radio is not there. In such a pure atmosphere, we could not keep the mind on God. And imagine ordinary people in whose house constantly they will be speaking about relatives, friends, this, that, so many things other than God and spiritual life. What would be their state? And that's what we see. Sri Ramakrishna's, these devotees, though they are coming to the Avatara Varishta's feet, their day-to-day life in the house is always forgetful of God. Now and then they remember when there is problem, when they are going out, when they have some responsibilities and duties to discharge, they will remember God and do. But it will not be enough to cross over the nature. Inner nature is so powerful. The nature, we are in the clutches of nature. So, to overcome nature, the internal nature which we have created out of great interest, lives after lives, to overcome that. Is it possible? So, when all are silent, yes, what Sri Ramakrishna is telling, true, and that alone is what we are experiencing. When we were in training center, when Acharya was taking us Bhagavad Gita, and one brahmachari asked, which is the most important shloka in Bhagavad Gita, by knowing which we will realize God. Or we say we have known Bhagavad Gita. Then the Acharya, elderly Swamiji, slowly bending and coming to the class, dragging his khadaus, was sitting and looking at the brahmachari. He said, any three shlokas, if you know, realize, if you practice it in your life and realize it, you would have crossed the nature. And immediately when brahmachari jumped up out of the bench, stood and said, I have realized few shlokas of Bhagavad Gita. And everybody was curious. And Master asked, what are those shlokas that you have realized? Then just like Ashtanga Yoga, there is Ashtanga Patana in that Bhagavad Gita. Which one you remember? Krodhat bhavati sammoha, sammoha smritivibramaha, smritibramshat buddhinasho, buddhinashat vinashyati. Everybody was silent. This is only thing that I have seen in my life. So it will be like that. Our state will be. So here, when Sri Ramakrishna explains, all these people are silently sitting. Yes, what you are telling, we are realizing every day in our life. You need not extend and explain much about that. It is our direct experience. Now, one of them is asking, humbly, is there no way? A devotee, sir, is there no help then for such a worldly person? Such a worldly person. Such a worldly person, by mistake also, he will not think of God. In Bhagavad Gita, these people use superlative words. Apichedasi papebhya papakrittama. The supreme among the sinners, even if you are that, don't worry, there is a path. Master, certainly there is. Certainly there is. From time to time, he should live in the company of holy men, and from time to time go into solitude to meditate on God. Furthermore, he should practice discrimination and pray to God, give me faith and devotion. Once a person has faith, he has achieved everything. There is nothing greater than faith. Sri Ramakrishna, you see, yes, everybody, even an atheist who doesn't believe in existence of God, to him also Sri Ramakrishna says, there is a path for you. What is that path? Pray to God in such a way, oh God, if at all you are there, reveal yourself to me. He doesn't believe in existence of God. Doesn't matter. Pray to God, if at all you are there, reveal yourself to me. And He will reveal to you. Always with nature and God, we don't have any instrument that can perceive or recognize Mother Nature and the Supreme Reality, the God, the all-pervading consciousness, Chaitanya. We can't recognize or realize or know. We concentrate and she reveals. Nature, you see, Newton and all, so many laws they have discovered. Simple laws of nature. How did they do? They just concentrate and nature reveals. You focus yourself entirely, all energies on the reality. What is that reality? What is the reality within me? Focus it and it reveals. It reveals. Unless it reveals, you will not know. Now all these objects are revealing themselves. They are presenting, they are expressing themselves. That's why I am able to see, I am able to grasp, I am able to understand. If they don't reveal themselves, I cannot see. So revelation. Sri Ramakrishna says a few things here. Certainly there is, from time to time, you should have satsanga. Time to live in the company of holy men. Holy men are those whose mind constantly dwells on the divine. Very difficult to get holy company. By grace of God, who are sincere to the core of their heart, God arranges the company of holy men. Otherwise, it is, Shankaracharya tells the three things very difficult to get in one's life. The human life, Manushatva, Mumukshutva, desire to transcend the nature and go beyond, desire for liberation, and Mahamurusha Sangha, a company of holy men. These three are very rare to get in one's life. So, when we have got this, we must see that we transcend and go. So, Sri Ramakrishna says certainly from time to time he should live in the company of holy men. How? How will you recognize? How will you know? How will you seek? How will you get? Many are wanting to have holy company. Where will you get? The last alternative for you is to have the books written by people who are realized God, who have transcended the nature and gone beyond. How do you recognize a holy man? Once Tapasyananji Maharaj asked a person who is looking like a realized soul in all respects, stayed and came one day in the Chennai ashram. Tapasyananji never used to allow anybody to stay within the ashrama except the inmates. However great be he, no accommodation for anybody. Maximum you will see that an accommodation will be made somewhere else outside the monastery. But to this person, Tapasyananji with open heart accepted him to stay. And he was fully convinced that this person has realized God. The sixth sense, awareness, the innermost heart says, yes, he has realized God. Then he asked that person, how to ask, have you realized God directly? So Tapasyananji Maharaj asked, have you seen any realized person in your life? He said, yes, I am seeing only realized souls everywhere. Who is not? They may not be knowing, but all are realized souls. All are Jivan Muktas. They do not know, that's all. So, how do you recognize? Is not by asking like this. One thing is your innermost heart says, yes, he has realized. Second thing is, he is untouched by Kamini Kanchana. At all times, his mind dwells at the feet of God. And you will not search him from within and without, from core to the skin. You will not see a trace of Kama Kanchana in that person. You can watch days after days, years after years. You will not find Kamini Kanchana. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna gives lots of places how he sees clay and gold as same. Bhagavad Gita, Gunatrayatita, and the science of Jivan Mukta, that is, one who is established in the Sthita Prajna Lakshanas. All these, many places Krishna goes on giving. These signs will make you understand that he is realized soul. Even in Mutt and Mission, at least at all times, 3 to 5 people will be there, hidden, who have at least touch the feet of God. Sri Ramakrishna says the realization, regarding realization, he says, some have seen the ocean, some have touched, some have dived deep into it. So, if not anything, at least they have seen God. At all times there will be. Because the lighted by Sri Ramakrishna and direct disciples of realization of God has to continue for a few more centuries before it takes strong ground in the society. The ideal of God realization to become a public awareness, to come into the public awareness, many have to sacrifice, many have to realize. And this, we used to run to Arogya Bhavan. Whenever we get an opportunity, we are not allowed from training center to go out, but somehow make an opportunity. Only person we can approach and request is the brahmachari who is in charge of us all, the manager brahmachari, one who manages the whole training center. One of us, he will be senior, second year, and capable, Vishnu type. So they will be given that work of managing, taking people, giving whatever comes, distribution, allotment of duties, all the things are done by them. So secretly we'll go and ask. He'll go to Arugya Bhavan and come around. Then he'll say, yes. Now, where is Principal Maharaj? You watch. And he will give the hints how to go and how to come back. And any time, any Acharya asks, you tell, you have told me. And I will take care of it. So with that assurance, we will run afternoons to meet sadhus and serve them. So that closely watching the old sadhus and asking them questions. They will freely, like grandfathers, they will go on telling their experiences. This happened in my life, that happened in my life. Because they are on the last stages of leaving the world. They want to give out the experiences of their life, what they have seen, how they struggled, how they overcome the natural forces of the internal forces that drive them, how the grace descended upon them of God, how they used to spend the days, how they used to spend the nights, how much they wept in their life for God. All that they will go on explaining. We will be even just a half an hour, 15 minutes, if you talk to them once in a week also. We get so much of encouragement in this one, and we'll be fully charged that yes, I have to struggle and I will be able to finish the task. So most of them were disciples of the direct disciples. So they had that power and authority also, apart from their own experiences, to guide us, that we see in the... So, the way to get the holy company, one of the ways is to heartily pray that give me satsanga, give me satsanga, give me holy company, give me holy company. Otherwise disease will not go away, internal disease. So, the prayers, the collective prayers of so many people will mature and bring down some soul to our accessibility. He becomes accessible. Somewhere we'll get a hint, somewhere. And whatever information, whatever instruction you need, somehow God will make that information reach you through somebody who doesn't know anything about spiritual life also, many a times. Instruction comes. Similarly, some book you take out, in that you will have an instruction. Some paper, newspaper, fallen here, there, you are going to throw in the waste basket, just you look into it, there is a message for you. Somehow it reaches, the message reaches. God makes it. The sadhaka's life are governed by a special power. It doesn't come under the realm of Maya, avidya. Vidya Maya takes the charge of all the sadhakas, sincere sadhakas who are struggling, and manages their life, where to take them, how to take them. Sometimes it will be very painful, sometimes it will be joyful, but the whole thing is managed by an unknown power which we neither can call as nature nor as God. A power manages everything. So once the decision is taken, in this life I have to finish this task of realizing God, then immediately that power descends in the close proximity and start managing the affairs, our mental states, our feelings, the information that has to reach me, clearing my path. The Totapuris, pure Advaitin, his whole path was kept free from thorns, smoothly within one life. Simply walked and reached the supreme state, the ultimate state of Nirvikalpa Samadhi. To teach Sri Ramakrishna means, imagine God coming down in human form to teach him the Advaita. What must be his capacity and authority? And this is when Sri Ramakrishna, when Divine Mother says to Sri Ramakrishna, each time he goes and asks, should I learn it? When Bhairavi Brahmani comes, Sri Ramakrishna rushes. Bhairavi Brahmani says, I will teach you Vaishnavism totally and Tantras. He says, I will ask my mother. And when he goes and asks mother says, I have brought her for your sake. Then we will understand, some unknown power is managing all these affairs of sadhaka. Sadhaka will never know what Guru does and what God does, participation of God, Guru and nature. Nature we can take as Vidya Maya or Avidya Maya. Vidya Maya. How they work will never be known. Regarding Vivekananda, in that his life, the author goes on explaining that when he meets Sri Ramakrishna, Ramakrishna sends him into the trance and asks many questions. And Naren answers those questions. And Sri Ramakrishna says, yes, what I have thought of you and what I have known of you earlier is the same. Regarding his descendants from the Saptarshi. Then the author writes there, Sri Ramakrishna alone knew, and even the disciple himself at any time might not have known. Perhaps he might have not known. Even after Sri Ramakrishna asked him questions, he has answered those questions. He himself did not know later his life also. Who he was, what for he had come, nothing was known to him. And he is one of the Ishwar Kotis who have been selected by the mother. Means, where are we? What are we? In this vast creation, we are just flowing in the will of Divine Mother. We came into this creation not out of our choice, nor we are going to reach back. Though we long for it now, we do not know how we are going to reach, when we are going to reach. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.